Hi, this is Stacia, and I'm going to show a training game that I played on chess.com on my climb to 1800. So, before the game, I was rated 1725 or something. 1722, I don't know exactly, but about 1720. And I faced an opponent, an American, rated 1760. So, um, that's what I want. I want to play 1700s or better and see if I can beat them. So, let's see what happened. E4, E5. And actually, in the opening, we got the Italian game and the Berlin defense, which I also play as black. And you probably won't be surprised to know that I play the crazy looking move knight to g5, but this is a very known move. Bobby Fischer actually said that he felt this move was the only way to play for an advantage as white in this line, which is pretty fascinating. I think they don't believe that anymore. But okay, d5 is basically the move, and it goes like this. And now I play the move bishop d3. So you can also go bishop e2, and you can also go, what else? Queen f3 is definitely a move. Those are the three main ones, I believe. So, okay. From here, I know the main move to be knight to d5, which is a discovery on our knight, and that is what he played. So I should do something about that. So I played knight to f3. Now, I know that knight to f3 looks awkward because part of the reason that, well, the main reason we're putting our bishop on this weird square in front of our d-pawn is because we want the e4 square for the knight. So not putting the knight on e4 is weird to me. But I actually have a flashcard on this, and knight to f3 is the main move. And I think the reason is because it comes with tempo against the pawn, and we're going to play chess from here. So usually black will protect the pawn with bishop d6, and that is what my opponent did. So we are 9 moves into the game, and we are in the main line. And I castled, which I do believe is still theory, but let's check just in case. I'll open the opening book. Yeah, 128 games, and white does quite well in this line. Yeah, and then I know knight f4 to be the main move after this, but he did not play that. He castled, which is probably slow. So I felt like I probably have a way to untangle now because castles is slow, but the main move he should have played is knight to f4 because it looks natural to play bishop e2 here, but I already know that there are 2 moves that are very good for black. One of them is this. Pretty sure this is a move. I'm not turning on the engine yet, but if actually, I'm kind of wondering if the knight, can the knight be on f3 for this? Because it is guarding some critical squares. Yeah, it can be because they're going to play e5. Like we take, they play e5, displacing the knight. And notice that the queen is going to be coming in, and black will have a big attack, and it's a compensation for a knight. That is definitely the way to refute this move bishop e2. But they could also just play e5, and that also is very dangerous. So let's check that analysis with the engine. Want to make sure I don't steer you guys wrong. Yeah, knight f4 is the main move for sure. And after that, yeah, bishop e2 is not a move here. I do know the main move to be rook e1. And then this allows knight takes d3. And I think this is the main line. I'm going to check the opening book too. Yeah, this is like the main line, which is kind of disturbing to me because I don't like it that much. Like we have an extra pawn, but so I guess my next step in this opening is going to be to learn to play these middle games and probably use these pawns somehow and untangle quickly somehow. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look pleasant to me, but that is where black can take us if they so choose. Okay, so in the game, sorry I lost my place. They castle here and now I'm out of book. So 10 moves into the game, I'm finally out of book, and I came up with the move bishop e2 because since the knight's not on f4, there's no knight takes g2. So I thought, why not unblock my d pawn? So let's see what the computer likes here. Bishop e2 flashes up, but it definitely likes rook e1 the best. Yeah, this is scary to me because often black will target our f pawn, but somehow I guess we don't have to worry about it here. Don't ask me how. I mean, the nice thing about this bishop is it is stopping, you know, that move. And now with the rook here too, we are definitely controlling the e4 square. So rook e1 does that. And, well, if he can't play e5, then yeah, I don't know. Let's just see, like, what would happen if black changed their mind and wanted to go after f2. Oh, they can't do that. That drops the pawn. In fact, okay, I'm getting a lot more understanding already because I'm seeing that this pawn's hanging. Now, I'm not sure I want to take it. I'm not sure about that, but it is hanging right now. Computer gives rook to e8. And then we can play knight to c3, challenging the knight, getting a piece out. And after f5, we can take this knight. Okay, I had a similar situation during the game. I wasn't in a hurry to improve the black pawn structure though, but I guess this is I guess this is good. I mean talk about preparing e5. I don't know about this, but computer says white's better. So I'll have to look at this more. I guess the point is we have bishop e5 now. That's a tempo on the rook. And if they go bishop d7 now, we can start trading pieces off. Yeah, our bishop is no longer blocking the pawn. We actually got to trade it, and now we just play d3. So we can meet this with takes, I imagine. Wow. Yeah, I guess the position is starting to look okay now, and this knight looks funny, you know, it still looks funny. He will be able to come in, but okay. Well, I definitely am interested in these early middle game plans in this line, so sorry if I'm focusing on them. All right, so I played bishop e2, which I guess rook e1 is better. But I was just simply preparing to play d3. And yeah, I didn't look at e4 here closely, and I probably should have. e4 is a move. He didn't play this. But what would I do here? I feel like knight d4 would be risky. Like knight d4, the computer gives queen to f6, attacking the knight. Yeah, and we can't make a desirable move to defend the knight. So we'd have to play c3, which is awkward. Now this knight's not coming to c3 anymore. And we actually just weakened this. Yeah, so I don't think we can play knight d4, so we probably have to play this. All right, so this is not pleasant, but, you know, when you're up a pawn, sometimes you have to contort yourself and just say, I'm up a pawn, I'm up a pawn. Someday, if I untangle, I will have a pawn. Sort of the opposite of the way I've been playing. these days. But computer says this is equal. And if queen c7, g3. Wow. Yeah, this is terrifying to play like this. But I wonder if the knight is going to Fanketo itself. They say that knights are very horrible when they're Fanketoed, but on the other hand, I like it better than on e1, so. All right, back to the game. I'm going to turn the engine off. F5 was played, d3, and rook b8. Now, if I had to guess, rook b8 is probably not what the computer wants, but I could be wrong. Usually you can't play these positions slowly. And I had a game where I got totally crushed because I played it slowly from the black side. So I'm more sensitive to that now. So let's see what the computer says about rook b8. Yeah, it's actually okay. It is significantly worse than e4 though. e4 I definitely thought was going to be the move because after takes and takes, now I have to move the knight. Wow, I was going to go knight g5, but the computer is saying it's very bad. Knight g5 is bad because of e3. Interference. I did not see this. Look at that. It cut off the defense of the knight. Well, that would be quite sad. Yeah, if we take with the bishop, they'll take, removing the defender. So, okay, and if I go knight f3, then it wants e takes f2 check. Oh, I think our rook's going to get pinned. Rook takes f2, bishop c5. Yeah. So we lose material if we play knight f3. I mean, what about, I know this looks crazy, but what about this move? If this, then black says, yum, 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 I'm going to sack my rook. And after bishop takes, now queen h4 comes. And they're threatening checkmate. That's uncomfortable. I don't like that so much. So I guess we could take the knight. Wow, this is funny. The computer says king h8 wins. You cannot take this back because then the queen comes in with check and wins the knight. So you actually have to play king h8. And then I could go g3, but yeah, isn't g3 just like, that's actually not defended, right? So that, I don't like that. And the computer's saying that's the best move? Oh boy. Bishop f4 would not be defended. Wow. There's like no defense to this mate. Okay, what about h3? Well, queen g3, I think. Yeah. Wow. So I guess the attack comes quickly. It comes very quickly on the dark squares. So that's pretty nuts to me. Wow. I think I'm going to make a flashcard of this because look how quick that attack comes in. They just like eliminate the knight, infiltrate on the dark squares, and it's lights out. There's no defense. All right. So I'm glad this didn't happen in the game because I was definitely planning knight g5 and it looks like that just loses. Okay, rook to b8 was played instead, and here, oh, I like this move. The move the computer's giving I like. I went knight to c3, which is a little awkward, I think. I was totally okay with them taking my knight. That would be nice for me, I thought. But the computer says that's what they should do. All right, I have to turn the engine off or I'll keep looking at it. This move I like better because we might play knight b3, which blocks. Actually, I don't know. Is that so good though? Maybe it allows us to play this kind of plan though, like here, or maybe even like a4 and put the bishop here. Okay, I will look at what the computer says now. It's giving rook e1, bishop f1, g3, knight h4 for white in the coming moves. So playing on the king side actually. So I think part of the reason for this knight is after knight h4 we can play like that, and it wants g3, knight h4, so that we have this square just in case there's an attack. And it loves to play this plan, so I'm going to keep that in mind for the future. It does make sense to, you know, get this bishop in the defense. It's just kind of funny because this bishop has had like a crazy road if you think about it. You know, like he started out on c4, and then he checked, and then he was kicked back and went to d3, and then he goes to e2, and then they're saying he's going to end up on f1. So it's a lot of tempi, All right, or can I call them tempos? Probably can. All right, my opponent played here. Again, I think he's playing a little slow, but I think his nice center is the compensation he has and the pressure on my king side. Now here I played a3. Yeah, I did not know what to do here, I'm not going to lie. I thought about a3. I thought about bishop g5. I thought about bishop d2. I thought about queen e1. Yeah, and once again the computer says rook e1. What are you doing? Play rook e1. Okay, queen e1 is the second computer choice, and knight g5. I thought about knight g5, but I thought the bishop would simply move away, and then what? So let's look at that for a second. I thought they could just move away. But now it wants me to take and then play bishop to f3. Really? That's why. This bishop was doing a job. So even if they kick the knight away, we have this check first. Well, and that's going to be very, very bad. That loses now because look, we can actually do this now. That's a fork. So wow, interesting. So yeah, I've got to see these forcing continuations better. I think that's one that maybe I should be able to see, right? That the bishop comes to f3 and threatens to take a pawn with check. I should be able to see that. I'd be scared of e5 here, though. I'll tell you that. But I guess if e5 and takes, we probably have knight takes, and look, this bishop would be hanging. So, full of surprises. Okay, let's continue. I'll try to pick up the pace. I think I'm learning a lot. So a3 is definitely slow. I was going to play b4. I mean, that's the idea there. But it's not a good idea because I can't really play b4 without hanging my knight. So I have to do something about that first. So very, very slow plan. Too slow. They play queen c7. h3 because I don't want e5 to win a pawn at some point, which I think it would. h6. Also a slow move. I guess he didn't like knight g5 or bishop g5. So, and it says black should take here, which is surprising to me. But I guess It does wreck my structure a bit. I don't know. It doesn't look that bad to me, but I mean, I am up a pawn. We all have the 2 bishops. Okay. So here I went queen to e1. It's funny, but I saw Bobby Fischer play this move in the game I analyzed on this very channel, in his 2 nights game. And I think that game's called Ghosts, if you want to search for it on YouTube. Just type in Stacia Chess Ghosts and you'll probably find it. Very cool game. So I was planning, you know, bishop d2 here and trying to be sneaky, like, hey, I'll take your knight and then I'll win material. But I think he saw that, so he moved his knight away. Bishop here anyway, because now there's no rook takes b2. He came in. Well, now he's inviting b4, so I played it. Oh, I took first. Yeah. Computer approves. Oh, I didn't play b4. Kind of surprised. Well, yeah, I have to admit, I mean, when you look around at the board and you try to find where this dark square bishop belongs, it's not the easiest thing. It just looks like, I want to trade him off. But I think that's a little bit misguided because I do have pawns on light squares and I'm giving away my good bishop, so it's probably not recommended. So here black could play d4. Yeah, I think they probably should, because if they play d4, they're stopping me from playing d4, which is definitely something I wanted to play. And if they play d4, they still are going to have this e4 break. It might even be better because I can't push past or anything. So that's interesting. Okay, so I guess he wanted to trade. So I did take. Wow, this is kind of a mistake. Computer wants c4 right in this moment. Yeah, you know, I like that. I like c4 better. We do not need to trade. This is kind of a low-rated player move. I'm kind of embarrassed that I did that. Because if I go c4 and they take me, and I take back with a pawn, it just opens up my rook, and I've got, my pawns are looking good, and so c4 is desirable. This is a backwards pawn. There's already pressure on it. So I do like that. Instead, I took, which distracted the queen off the c file, and I played b4, which is the top move. Okay, rook here, of course, targeting my weak pawn. So I'm a pawn up, but look at black's awesome center and look at my extra pawn. It's like, it's not going to be easy to play c4, but maybe I can. All right, so I put a rook behind it, preparing. Knight here. Yeah, and I feel like things go wrong sometime soon. I'm going to turn off the engine. I did play d4 here. I think this move is correct, but it does give up the c4 square, so maybe it is not. He pushed past, which I thought was nice for me because I get the e5 square. Okay, I have to check with the engine on this pawn break. It's not coming up as a move, so yeah, it doesn't like it. It says all my advantage is gone after e4. Yeah, okay, I was wrong about this. So instead, queen d2 is the main move. And a4 is a move, which is a pawn sacrifice. But not really, because probably a4 takes. Could play like this. But what's the computer's idea? After knight takes, it wants c4. Wow, it's just taking the knight away from guarding c4 and putting the knight back on the edge. It's like, hey, you thought you were back in the game? Sorry, buddy. You are relegated to the a4 square now. Wow, I don't think I would have thought of this, but when you look at this, how this turns out, it's worth it. It's worth giving the pawn back. Very interesting idea by the computer. Instead, I went d4 and he played here, and I thought this is good. I mean, I got my knight in, but he did play f4 here. I played bishop g4. Yeah, and this is where things went wrong. So I misplayed this part of the game for sure. I'll show you what happened so you agree, and then we'll try to find a better plan. Okay, I'm going to turn the engine off, and we'll try to find a better plan. So the problem with bishop here is the knight comes into c4. I actually thought that was a good move by my opponent. He is attacking here, and he's attacking my knight. And my knight's only guarded once, so he's threatening to win a pawn. And if he does win this pawn, then suddenly these black pawns are very dangerous, actually. They already are kind of dangerous. So I took the bishop, and when he took back, I took the knight. I didn't know what else to do. It's like, can I retreat my knight? I don't think so. I mean, if I come here and he plays this, what am I going to do? I'm going to play here. I mean, maybe this is correct. And I think he definitely wants to play f6 very soon. And once f6 gets in, you know, my king will become in trouble because, like, if f6 right now, ooh, well, in this position I'm seeing that I could actually, can I take the pawn? Maybe not because of rook takes. Because if this, I have this move. If rook takes here, yeah, I think this is sufficient because now there's this. I'd be scared. I'm not sure what's happening, but I mean, maybe this is a move. And just say, hey, I'm gonna checkmate you. Oh, you are? It's not the easiest thing in the world to stop, is it? I don't know how I would do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do here. I'll flash the engine on. Yep, mate in 4. Okay. Okay, so now that we kind of know what happened, let's find a better move right here. So bishop g4 was a mistake. I definitely thought about knight g6, but I just don't see a follow-up there. I thought about f3, but oh man, f3. You know, a move like f3 is going to be met by e3. Now, I saw a flash of what the computer wanted, but I do not understand it. I think it wanted this move. Bishop b5. But I don't understand why at all. So I'm just going to turn the engine on. I don't know. Bishop b5, like why? It seems like bishop b5 and bishop, okay, bishop a6 I saw, but I actually thought maybe he would go, I thought he would move his rook up like this. Computer doesn't like it. It wants rook c to d8. I'm not entirely sure why. I can tell you this, though. The computer is very focused on stopping c4. So, yeah, that's one thing the bishop does on a6 and b5, is it prepares the move c4. Oh, and it stops knight c4. It stops it. So that is the better plan. The better plan is to play for c4 and try to kick around black's pieces and orchestrate this pawn break of c4. And if I get that in and attack the base of this pawn chain, well, then this rook becomes active and maybe the threats on the king side won't be as severe. So, okay, I think this is a very instructive game, I think. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as me right now. Okay, so let's continue. I'm just going to kind of fly through the rest, I think. Because it does get crazy and, well, who knows what I'll do, right? Okay, f5, and I was like, oh no, I think I'm worse. And the computer says I'm equal if I find bishop a6. But I played this move, and indeed, I'm worse. Takes, or I'm sorry, here. Takes, queen. Now, should I take the knight? Yes, computer agrees. Didn't really want to because of that move. I mean, that's black's dream. They want to pile up on my weak pawn, right? And maybe play f6. And the principle of two weaknesses, I would just think I'm going to lose. So I played here, and sure enough, f3. Did I call it f6? Sorry, it's f3. All right, so what to do? I cannot really take this pawn because I think, you know, that looks pretty bad. He might not even have to do that right away. I mean, this is... Oh, he does, because the pin. But even rook here must be pretty good. Because, I mean, look at this. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't think I can take the pawn. So I left it. Wow, computer says g4 is the best move. I didn't consider that move. That's kind of nice. I guess they should take? No, it says they shouldn't take. They should play h5. Oh. I mean, this is still winning for black, don't get me wrong, but computer likes g4. It's more of a defense. I played here. I want to get my queen in the game and hopefully kind of x-ray defend the pawn. But he took, and now, I mean, I got to move the rook, right? Got to move it. Queen g6. I thought was a huge blunder. Let's see if the computer agrees. It does agree. I thought rook f3 here. Oh, I did not see that rook f3 doesn't work. Look at this. I could probably take. I could take. Wow. I did not see that during the game. I had 3 minutes left. I should have saw that. Yeah, that's interesting. That gets into the psychology of chess, though, because if you put this position in front of me, I would see this. I saw it just now. But in a game, when you think you're losing and you're in time pressure, it's like, it's amazing what you won't see. So I need to learn not to get in time pressure, which, by the way, my opponent had 12 minutes and I had 3 minutes. I have to really stop doing this to myself. All right, so he actually saw that and played queen g6. So defending the pawn and preparing rook f3. But this allows queen g3, which I definitely was excited to play. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to get out of this. He took, I took. The rook comes in. But this is now a little different, you know. This is a rook ending now, like a 2 rook ending, so... I'm not saying this looks good for me. It doesn't, but I do win this pawn. The rook comes in. Now I probably have to take that rook. I was kicking myself when I didn't. I played here and, well, he can take on g3. So he did. I was kicking myself because I actually missed that. Takes. Now I think he's going to try that. So I actually took the rook. Takes. And I'm actually quite proud of the way I played the rest of the game with just 2 minutes on my clock. First I played here. Black is totally winning. He went there. So I defended it. He's going to win that pawn, nothing I could do. But at least I have this majority, right? So I have a majority, and it's not all that slow either. Like here, here, takes, here, and queen with check. That would be nice. So that's my only hope. But on the other hand, look how many pawns black has. All right, so I pushed that pawn because my rook's behind this one. I can do this. He checked me. Now, I actually thought if he goes rook d3, I think he loses. So let's see if that's true. Rook d3. Yeah, I'm right. I could take it. Takes. My king is now, you know, in the square of the pawn. These pawns are neutralized. And my pawns, on the other hand, are too fast. This king will never get here in time. So, you know. So I did see that line. So I knew he could not play rook d3. So he checked me instead. I also thought this was good for me, though, because I bring my king up. He went here. It's like, haha, I'm going to skewer you. Okay, I saw it. So I played here. And I'm going to take a pawn. What are you going to do about it, you know? So he checked me. I come back. He went here. I come back. Now I think he had to think, because if he keeps checking me, it will be a draw. He can't keep doing that. So he went with this move. But now I'm going to win some pawns. So I was starting to feel a little bit hopeful, but it still looks lost. So take, yummy. Okay, yeah, I've been working with my kiddo students too much. I'm saying yummy when I win pawns now. All right. Rook c3. Okay, I felt like I have to play actively. If I play here, his idea was takes. And if I go here, it takes. And this is losing. He's got 2 connected pass pawns. So I can't do that. So I decided to play actively instead. And I was really hoping for some crazy stuff. The other thing I really wanted to do was go like rook here. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to play this, have him take it, and then go like rook here and like skewer him or something. But this king's too close. It will never work. So I didn't have that. So I just played here. If I can win this pawn and my rook remains on the A file, well, my A pawn's pretty scary, you know? It is counterplay. It's counterplay. So I checked. He went up there. That's kind of why I checked, because I thought he had to. And now I get the pawn. Okay, so he wins the pawn in return with check. And king here. Yeah, I didn't know where my king belongs. The computer says king e5. Wow. I don't think I could play king e5 with 30 seconds on my clock and calculate that. Like, I mean, king e5, isn't that kind of like giving up on these pawns? I actually don't know what king e5 is. Like, why would I go there? I have no idea. I have no idea at all. Maybe I'm just keeping the king out of this square. It's the only idea I have. And if here, maybe I'm going to go here. I don't know, king e5, but okay. Instead, I brought my king here. I want to just try to stop these pawns, you know. Stay in front of them. Hide in the corner if I must. Maybe there'll be a rook trade. I don't know, but Okay, so time to push. I'm pushing my pawn, and now I just need this king to get outside of the cover of the pawns so I can check him. If I get a check, then I queen. The other thing though is that, like, if the king is here, like, it's black's turn, but if the king was there, I could play rook h8, and at least I'm attacking a pawn with check. So that might be enough to draw. So he would take my pawn, and then I take his pawn with check, and that is a draw. I'm pretty sure that in a rook ending, when the pawn is here, it's a draw. But he moved the pawn up, so I don't have that option. So this is actually a really interesting ending. It says black is totally winning here. Wow, the computer hates my move, rook G or king G2. It says I should go rook D8 right now. Rook D8. I would never go rook D8. That's just admitting that you're lost, right? Like, what's the point? It says rook D3. No, this is losing. And the computer says it's losing. So that's silliness. I'm not going to play that move. I played the most challenging way, okay? Like, the computer knows this doesn't work, but a human doesn't know. So, okay. He comes down. I'm actually glad he didn't go here. Or am I? If he went there, I guess I have check. And then he has to move, and then I queen, and it's a rook versus two pawns. That's probably a draw. Okay, but the king did step out in front of this pawn, and I'm not getting checkmated. The king's not here, so I'm not getting mated. So he pushed his pawn. I couldn't believe it. Like, he definitely needs to take an a7. So I don't know if he has 10 minutes on his clock. I guess he was trying to run me out of time, but he should know I'm pretty accustomed to playing like this since I play every game like this. All right, so I made a queen. I mean, am I winning? Is this a draw? It's got to be at least a draw, I thought. He took, I took. There. King here. I actually thought this was a draw. But now that I see the computer, I'm seeing that this is winning for me. Yeah, and I played this correctly. Wow. Yeah, and here he resigned. I'm going to win his other pawn, and well, I do know how to mate with a king and a rook. Believe it or not. So wow, this game is a swindle. It's a swindle. I got some rating points, which is nice. I mean, hey, if I can swindle these 1700s in time pressure, that has to be a good sign. But I did get outplayed, I'm pretty sure, and I need to play the middle game faster. When I don't know what to do, I'm learning. I take too much time. And I'm not calculating or anything. I'm just looking for about a good move that I never find. I'm starting to learn that that's just a waste of time. Like, if you have lines to calculate and you need to invest some time, I think that's different than what I'm doing, which is sitting there like, oh, I don't know what to do. I should just find a decent move, play it, move on with my life. So pretty happy with this game overall. Well, I guess I'm only happy because I got the swindle. So let's look at the key moments. So I'm up to 1735. I think one more win and I might break my all-time high. So that's really nice. Okay, it says that was the last book move, which is a lie. Last book move was later. Okay, and d4 was a mistake. Here we know that... Is it c4? Can I play c4? I think c4 is the move. Or it might be that weird A4 move. I'm going to go with A4 because I remember that one. It says A4 is excellent. C4 is an inaccuracy, but white's still doing okay here. Wow, so what does the computer want then? It's not queen d2, is it? Can't be knight h4. What on earth would it be? It can't be c3, could it? I actually don't know. C3 is excellent. So A4 and C3 are good. What was the move the computer had? Yeah, queen D2. Wow, so I guess, you know, I thought D4 was a good break, but it gives up this square. And when it does that, my pawn's weak forever. Yeah, and sure enough, the knight comes into C4 and the rook comes in, and I got clamped on the queen side. So I do understand now why D4 is not good. Yeah, and then bishop g4 is a mistake. So where I really went wrong in this game is I didn't play for this c4 break. This was absolutely critical to get in. And when I didn't get that in, I just became much worse. So the best move here is probably bishop a6, which maintains control on the c5 square. So I'm going to play that break soon. It stops knight c4, and it's a tempo on the rook. So all of that is good. Okay. Oh, it didn't like this either. I guess I could take the knight first. Anything else? Yeah, take the knight first, apparently. There's a tempo on the queen, which is nice. Now, I thought rook would take. And, well, whatever. Let's continue. Yeah, a4 is a mistake. I mean, I just blundered that. Not recommended. So, instead, I probably have to trade rooks just to save this pawn. When he takes, I could play a4. He's probably going to win one of those pawns, but what can I really do? All right, next. Okay, finally I trade rooks. Likes rook b3. Yeah, I like the way I play this part of the game. I don't study endgames at all, really. So I'm kind of happy that this went well. Retry. Wow, didn't like the plan of winning the pawn. It's kind of surprising. Well, I could defend. That just seems totally wrong. Why would I defend? Why would I not check? What is the idea here? Is it this? No. It's a king move. I thought he would check me and stuff, but I guess that takes the pressure off this pawn. Wow, it says after king f5, it's like equal. Wow, that's insane. Okay, but we've looked at enough. I'm not going to go too crazy. King f3 is a mistake. Yeah, it didn't like any of these moves. Instead, it likes that move. Yep, and this is a game changer. Rook g8. So, wow, it's actually a draw now because if he does take, I at least save the draw. You know, I won this pawn, and now this is a draw. But instead of that, he Yikes. Yeah, well, I think you guys get the point. Yeah, and that queen, I made a queen and I won. Yeah, and I did know this during the game. I was like, I thought it might be a draw or I'm winning. I didn't know which. But sure enough, it was winning. So pretty cool. So the final report, wow, it's pretty ugly. The bar graph is like insane. It goes way down for black. And then it shoots up to white at the end. So 84.5 for me and 80.5 for my opponent. It says I had 5 inaccuracies, 5 mistakes, and 1 blunder. And my opponent had 6 inaccuracies, 6 mistakes, 2 blunders, and 1 missed win. So yeah, I mean, when you play crazy chess, the 1700s make mistakes, and that includes me. And that's what I like about the way that I'm playing. I'm not playing a Scandinavian where we both play perfect and it's a draw. And we both go, oh, we're like GMs. We're so good at chess. No, if you want to find out if you're good at chess, mix it up and play some crazy lines. And then you're fighting for who's better at chess. That's what I like about all of this. But anyway, this video is long enough. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll cheer me on next video because I'm going to go for hopefully an all new high rating. All right, thanks so much and see you next time. Bye.